the development of multifamilies in the city are being bought by people who want to live in the city, who don't want to have to drive 2 hours, 3 hours, who don't want to live in St. Catherine, who don't want a single family house in St. Catherine. There are plenty of those from Wicon to Gore. Those are not the problem. There's, if you give me 2 minutes, there is a real experience of my employee and another youngster who graduate from school, can't find anywhere to rent in the city that's not a rat hole, a little back house in downtown, or a little attached building on the back of somewhere for any recent money. So they said, you know what, I'm going to live in my hometown. I'm going to live in Linstead and driving. Why should I pay 60 grand, 50 grand to live in that when so the build out of the city is a necessity. And to add to that, it is dangerous, as most countries have realized in retrospect, to try and build multifamily, multi-story for poor people. Okay? Multifamily, multi-story buildings are very complex things to live in, from the maintenance to the social, construct. So we at the NRCA, in looking at the development order, have looked at and have created opportunities for developers. Remember, it's a market-driven economy, as Mr. Martin said. We don't decide who builds what. It's the market that decides. Yes, we create the platform, but there's no guarantee that somebody's going to come and build there. We are not developers. We are not the developers. So we have tried to create opportunities for developers to take that up, to take up building, I don't want to say poor people housing, but affordable housing throughout the city, because I agree, that is not really what is being done. That sort of housing is being done outside of the city, which puts stress on those homeowners. They still have to travel to the city to work and back and forth. And it's a complex issue that won't be solved overnight.
I do believe that the city right now needs a single family, multifamily zoning category. I will put that on the table and I will put my neck on the block for that. It is not so now. We have to work with what we have. I do agree. But residents must also remember it cannot stay single family forever. It will be a timeline. So we can put it now and say, listen to me. This area will be single family, but when the order is going to be revisited 5 years from now, there is an opportunity for it to change. I don't think any administration will tell you that they will make Kingston 8 a single family into perpetuity. It's not possible. If you check every lot in Kingston, they all started out as single family lots. Every lot in Kingston started out as a single family lot. If you check the covenants, that is what they started out from. Even in downtown, Miss Green, if you check a lot of those commercial lots that you see downtown, when you check the titles, it says single family residence.
It's a new category that already exists. You're not going to introduce it, it exists.
No, Miss Green, hold on. Before you move on, the category now is residential. It is residential. The only place you'll see single family is as a covenant on the title, which is an arrangement between neighbors. Exactly. And I have noticed that during all the conversation, we have left out the Supreme Court and the role of the Supreme Court in modifying covenants. Exactly. It is not a role of the authorities to modify or keep covenants. That is a role of the Supreme Court, and it is based on the arrangement between neighbors upon when the land was subdivided. And that arrangement is between all persons on that DP.
The role of the Supreme Court to modify covenants. The role of the Supreme Court comes in when there is a discord and the Supreme Court makes a ruling, and the ruling is arbitrary and based on the judge. Now, the covenant is a thing of neighborhoods. So therefore, if you're going into a neighborhood...
Arbitrary based on a judge?
It is.
Now you know why NRC is appealing that ruling, because you just said it. Arbitrary based on a judge. I hope there's no judges listening.
I have been advised, and there was a seminar by the Jamaica Association of Developers, and it is said that in that seminar, it is said that many of the covenant cases do not have to go before the Supreme Court. And you can speak with Alton Morgan and get clarification if I have misrepresented him.
The only covenants.
And go there. Listen to me. Let us not deal with semantics. It's semantics to talk about single family and residence. That doesn't exist. Every single community is a residential community unless it has been changed into commercial or mixed use. Whether you put up a single house on the property or you want to put up a group of townhouses on the property, it is residential. And a townhouse is a single residential unit on a property.
So you're saying there's no need for this new zoning of single family, multifamily?
I don't know. There's no such thing because we already, it exists in Jamaica. And from the history of Jamaica, when you go down the lanes, and if you go down there now, you will still see the footprint of the city where you have a small house, a small lot, and you had 4 different houses on the lot. The same thing happened in Trenchtown when they were developing Trenchtown, although they were doing it for rental. And that's where the first residential high-rise came about.
There needs to be clarity where, and not about multifamily, where in the city is going to be designated single family only. That is the elephant in the room. And I agree with Mr.
Yes, sir, Wimstone. That is the elephant in the room.
That is the question that needs to be answered.